My name is Mark, and for as long as I can remember, I've been a mild sleepwalker. As a kid, I'd wake up in different rooms, but it was never anything serious until I moved into my first apartment. One night, after noticing my blankets disturbed and random objects moved, I decided to set up a camera to see what I actually did in my sleep. I assumed I'd find footage of myself pacing or mumbling nonsense, but what I saw the next morning made my stomach drop. At 2:47 a.m., I sat up in bed and turned to face the mirror, but instead of getting up and walking around, I just stared for over an hour. My eyes were open, but they looked empty, lifeless, and then at 3:52 a.m., something happened that should have been impossible. My reflection moved before I did. I woke up the next morning drenched in sweat, no memory of getting up. When I checked the mirror, everything looked normal. But watching that footage again, I saw myself still staring while my reflection suddenly grinned at me, a twisted, eerie smile that wasn't on my real face. Then it tilted its head, as if it knew I was watching. That was the last night I ever slept in front of a mirror. I threw a sheet over it and eventually I got rid of it altogether. But sometimes when I pass by windows or reflective surfaces, I swear I see something smiling when I'm not. I tried to forget about it, but a few weeks later, I had a visitor, an old friend who stayed over for the night. The next morning he asked why I had stood by his bedside staring at him while he slept. My blood ran cold. I hadn't left my bed that night. But something else had. For weeks, I struggled to sleep. The feeling of being watched never faded. Eventually, I moved my bed to the other side of the room, away from where the mirror used to be, but no matter where I placed my bed, I always felt eyes on me. One night, I woke up feeling breath on my face. My heart stopped. The room was silent, but when I reached for my phone, the screen showed a blurry reflection of my own face. Only it wasn't alone. A shadowy figure loomed behind me, featureless yet unmistakably aware of my presence. It was watching, waiting. That was the last time I ever slept in that apartment. My name is Samantha, and I had never experienced sleepwalking before. I'd heard about people cooking in their sleep, even leaving their houses, but it had never happened to me until a few months ago. It started with my phone. I'd wake up to find messages in my Notes app, just random letters at first. I figured I must have rolled onto my phone while sleeping. But then, the messages started forming full sentences. One morning I found this. I see them watching me. I don't think they want me to wake up. My hands went cold. Who was them? What did I mean by wake up? I deleted it, trying to shake it off as some weird dream. But then, one night, I woke up with my phone already in my hands. My fingers were moving across the screen, typing, except I wasn't in control. I forced myself to look at what was being written. You need to leave. He knows you're awake. That was the last straw. I packed a bag and left the next day. I never found out who or what was trying to warn me. But weeks later, my phone buzzed with a notification. A new note had been typed. It simply read, "Come back. I miss watching you." For months, I ignored it. But last week, I was visiting my parents, and I woke up in the middle of the night. My phone was in my hands again. A new note typed out. "You left the door unlocked. I let myself in." I don't think I was ever sleepwalking. I think someone or something was making me. I changed my number, got a new phone, and moved across the country. But even now, sometimes in the dead of night, I wake up and find my phone unlocked. And once, just once, I caught my reflection on the screen, grinning at me. I'm Ben, and I've always been particular about security. I triple check my locks, make sure every window is shut, and always lock my bedroom door before bed. But one morning, I woke up to something terrifying. My bedroom door, which I knew I locked, was wide open. I sat up, heart pounding. My roommates were still asleep. Nothing else in the apartment seemed disturbed. Maybe I had just forgotten? That night, I took extra precautions. I locked the door, placed a chair in front of it, and even set up my phone camera to record any movement. The next morning, the door was open again, the chair was back in its original position, and my phone, it was across the room. With shaking hands, I checked the footage. At exactly 3:13 a.m., I saw myself get out of bed, slowly, stiffly, like a puppet being controlled. I walked to the door, unlocked it, then stood there, waiting. The video ended at 3:20 a.m. I had no memory of standing there, no memory of unlocking the door. But what truly made my stomach drop was what happened right before the footage cut out. A second shadow moved past the doorway. It wasn't mine. I moved to a new apartment after that, but the nightmares followed me. My new roommates started waking up to find their doors open, their furniture moved, and one night I woke up standing in the hallway, my hand gripping my roommate's doorknob. But I wasn't alone. Something was behind me, watching. After seeing a sleep specialist, I tried recording again. The first few nights, nothing happened, but on the fourth night, at 3:15 a.m., the door opened on its own. And this time, the camera didn't just pick up my sleepwalking, it picked up whispering, and the sound of footsteps moving toward my bed. A low voice, barely audible, whispering my name. I don't sleep with my door locked anymore, because somehow it always ends up open anyway.